Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed something about your body that wasn't quite the same as it used to be? Maybe it's not as noticeable as a wrinkle or gray hair, but there's something subtle, a sign that time is passing and your body is changing in ways you didn't expect. The thing is, these changes aren't just random, they're natural signs of aging that every man experiences as he grows older. In this video, we're going to uncover 4 subtle yet undeniable signs of aging that most men experience, some of which may even surprise you. These aren't the obvious signs that everyone talks about, like getting gray or losing hair. Instead, we're diving into the smaller changes, things that might be happening slowly over time or that might catch you off guard when you notice them. And trust me, you're not alone in going through them. Stay tuned till the end because some of these changes might already be happening to you, and understanding them could give you a clearer picture of how to stay strong, active, and youthful as you age. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We're here to share insights, tips, and advice that help you live your healthiest, most vibrant life. Now let's jump in and explore the first subtle sign of aging. Part 1. The unmistakable smell of aging. One of the most subtle yet noticeable signs of aging in men is the unmistakable smell that often accompanies it. If you've ever spent time around older adults, you may have noticed it, the scent that's distinct yet hard to describe. It's not about poor hygiene or a specific cologne. It's a biological change happening on a cellular level. As men age, biochemical changes in their skin lead to the production of a compound called Nonenal. Now, this may sound unfamiliar, but this compound is the culprit behind the slightly grassy, waxy, or stale odor you might notice as you age. It's produced when fatty acids in the skin break down due to oxidative stress. While this scent can be more noticeable in men over 60, it's something almost every man experiences at some point. For many, this can come as a surprise. You might notice that even after a shower, your shirts seem to hold on to this scent no matter what detergent or cologne you use. This isn't your imagination at work, it's just part of the natural aging process. And while some people might think it's related to aging skin or hygiene, the truth is that Nonenal binds to fabrics and lingers on the skin, which is why it doesn't wash off easily like regular sweat or oil. Take Richard, for example. Richard, 74, started noticing that his shirts would hold on to a certain scent even after washing them. His granddaughter once said, "Grandpa, you smell like books and wood," which is a surprisingly common description of this odor. After switching laundry products and even trying different soaps, he realized that it was his skin itself that had developed this new scent. It wasn't bad hygiene, it was just a natural change in his body. This is actually something that personally caught my attention too. Over the years, I've noticed similar changes in my own body. At first, I thought it was just a matter of getting older, but as I researched and understood more, I realized that Nonenal is a real natural part of aging. It's a subtle but profound reminder that as we grow older, the body evolves in ways we don't always notice right away. Now, before you get alarmed, here's the good news. While you can't stop your body from producing Nonenal, there are steps you can take to minimize it. Using special soaps designed to remove excess oils and antioxidant-rich foods like green tea, citrus fruits, and leafy greens can help reduce oxidative stress and slow down the process. You can also use baking soda in your laundry to neutralize the scent from fabrics. So if you've noticed this subtle change, you now know it's not just your imagination, and it's certainly not something to feel embarrassed about. It's a natural part of aging, something almost every man will experience. And with a few small changes, you can manage it without much trouble. Part 2. The bigger belly that won't budge. As men age, one of the most noticeable and often frustrating changes is the growing midsection. For many, this is one of the most frustrating signs of aging. Even if you're eating the same way and maintaining the same level of activity, you might start noticing that your waistline seems to expand no matter what you do. But here's the thing, it's not just about enjoying a few extra bites at dinner or skipping a workout here and there. This belly growth is actually part of the body's natural adaptation to aging. As testosterone levels decrease over time, men start losing lean muscle mass. And muscle mass burns more calories, so as it decreases, your metabolism naturally slows down. The result, your body starts storing more fat, especially around the abdomen, which is why many older men experience this unwanted belly bulge. You might think, but I've been eating the same foods for years, why is this happening now? Well, it's not just about what you're eating, it's about how your hormones are changing. As testosterone drops, it becomes easier to store fat, particularly around the belly area, and harder to keep it off. This process happens gradually, which makes it harder to spot at first. But suddenly, one day, you look in the mirror and realize, I'm carrying more weight around my belly than I ever have before. Take Frank, for example. Frank is 76 and has always been lean. For most of his life, his diet remained the same and he was consistently active. But as he got older, he noticed that despite eating the same meals and staying somewhat active, his stomach seemed to be sticking out more. His arms and legs, on the other hand, seemed thinner. He attributed it to aging at first, but after learning more about how his body was shifting and the science behind hormonal changes and muscle loss, Frank understood that his body was naturally redistributing fat. The truth is, this belly fat isn't just a cosmetic issue. It can lead to serious health problems, especially for older men. Research has shown that abdominal fat is more dangerous than fat stored elsewhere in the body. It's metabolically active, meaning it can release inflammatory chemicals that affect your blood pressure, increase the risk of heart disease, and even affect brain health. Men with larger bellies are at greater risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. But here's the thing, you can fight this change. Even if it feels like your metabolism is fighting against you, there are some effective strategies to tackle it head-on. First, resistance training is one of the best ways to counteract muscle loss and boost metabolism. Incorporating strength training exercises like lifting weights or doing bodyweight exercises will help you maintain lean muscle and burn fat more efficiently. Second, protein should be a priority in your diet. Protein helps preserve lean muscle mass and keeps you full longer, which helps with weight management. Finally, avoid processed carbs and added sugars, as these can spike insulin levels and encourage further fat storage. I personally started noticing these changes as I aged, and at first it was frustrating. But when I focused on strength training, prioritizing protein, and cutting back on processed foods, I saw a major difference. It wasn't a quick fix, but with consistent effort, I was able to feel stronger, more energized, and more confident about my body's changes. So if you've noticed your belly growing, don't assume it's just part of aging. You have control over this. With a few adjustments to your routine, you can fight back against that stubborn belly fat and protect your long-term health. Part 3. The mystery of growing ears. Now here's one that might surprise you. Your ears are actually growing as you get older. It's one of those subtle signs of aging that most men don't notice until one day they look in the mirror and think, wait, when did my ears get so big? This may sound like a quirky change, but there's actually a scientific explanation behind it. Unlike other parts of the body like muscles or fat, which can shrink or redistribute, cartilage in your ears continues to grow throughout your life. As you age, cartilage becomes more flexible and tends to stretch due to the force of gravity, which makes your ears appear larger and longer over time. This isn't just a cosmetic change, it's a natural part of aging. You might also notice that your earlobes become thinner and more stretched out as you age. When I first realized this change in myself, I was a bit taken aback. I'd never really paid attention to my ears until I noticed they seemed a little more pronounced. But after learning that cartilage doesn't stop growing and skin loses elasticity over time, it made perfect sense. Take George, for example. He's 78 years old, and for most of his life, his ears were proportionate to his head. However, after looking at an old photo from his wedding, he was shocked to see how much his ears had changed. Not only had they gotten larger, but they also looked longer and more droopy. It wasn't just his imagination. This is something almost every older man will experience. But don't worry, this change is not something to fear. It's completely harmless. While growing ears might seem a little odd, it's actually a sign that your body is continuing to function as it should. Cartilage keeps growing, and while this may seem strange, it's your body's way of ensuring that you continue to hear the world around you. So what can you do about it? There isn't much you can do to stop the growth of cartilage, but there are things you can do to maintain your skin's elasticity and minimize the effects of the sagging. Staying hydrated, consuming foods rich in collagen, and using moisturizers on your ears can help. Plus, protecting your skin from the sun will also help reduce further sagging over time. Personally, I've found that simply acknowledging this change has made me more accepting of the natural process of aging. Embracing these small changes, like growing ears, reminds me that aging is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be something to dread. It's simply another sign of life's journey, and you can choose to embrace it with grace and understanding. Part 4. The disappearing calves. One of the most noticeable and often disheartening signs of aging in men is the shrinking of the calves. You might have looked down one day and thought, wait a minute, where did my calves go? This isn't just about losing weight or changes in body composition. It's actually a natural process that happens as part of the aging process, and it's called muscle atrophy. As you get older, your muscle mass naturally declines, especially in areas like the calves. This is due to a combination of factors, including hormonal changes like the drop in testosterone and reduced physical activity. You might not realize it right away, but as time goes on, you'll notice that your once strong, defined calves start to lose their shape and size. For me, when I first noticed this happening, it felt like a subtle, almost sneaky change. I didn't realize how much my calves had changed until I was walking up a set of stairs and felt like it took more effort than it used to. Simple movements like climbing stairs or standing up from a chair without support started to feel more challenging. That's when I realized the muscle loss wasn't just about appearance. It was about my overall functionality. Take Robert, a 75-year-old man who was active throughout his life, spending years working on his feet. By his late 60s, he noticed that his calves were not as defined and his legs seemed weaker. Even simple movements like walking felt harder. At first, Robert chalked it up to getting older, but he later realized that muscle atrophy was the culprit. His muscles were shrinking partly due to a decrease in activity and hormonal changes. And just like me, Robert felt frustrated when he realized how much his calf muscles had declined. The problem with losing calf muscle mass is that it can affect balance and mobility. Weak calves can lead to slower walking speeds, reduced balance, and even a higher risk of falls. Studies show that men who experience muscle loss in their calves tend to struggle more with mobility and daily tasks, which is why it's important to address this issue sooner rather than later. So what can you do? The good news is that calf muscle loss can be reversed or at least slowed down with the right exercises. Resistance training and strength exercises are key. Simple calf raises, walking on an incline, or using resistance bands can help rebuild calf muscle mass and improve circulation in your legs. Protein is another factor. Eating enough lean protein helps repair and maintain muscles, which is especially important for older adults. Personally, I started doing simple calf raises and walking more regularly. It was a small change, but over time I began to feel stronger and more energetic. I could go upstairs without feeling winded, and my legs felt more steady. Taking action now has helped me maintain my mobility, and I'm determined to keep it up as I age. So if you've noticed that your calves seem to be shrinking or feeling weaker, don't ignore it. This is a sign that your body is going through natural changes, but it's one you can address with a little effort. With consistent exercise and a focus on nutrition, you can stay strong, active, and independent for many years to come. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on the changes we've discussed. The unavoidable scent of aging, the growing belly, the expanding ears, and the disappearing calves, these are all part of the natural process that we experience as we get older. And yet it's not the changes themselves that define us, but how we choose to face them. aging isn't something to fear. It's a journey, one that shows us the wisdom, resilience, and experiences we've gathered over the years. These subtle signs are simply markers of how our bodies adapt, evolve, and continue to carry us through life. Every wrinkle, every shift in our body tells a story, your story. But here's the truth: embracing these changes doesn't mean surrendering to them. It means finding ways to keep moving, keep growing, and keep living with vitality. Whether it's staying active, maintaining a healthy diet, or simply acknowledging the changes and accepting them with grace, every small choice can help you age with strength and confidence. So let's embrace the process, and in doing so, let's honor the amazing lives we've lived. Share in the comments below. Which of these changes have you noticed in yourself, and how are you embracing them with open arms? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support helps us continue sharing these meaningful insights and empowering content with others. We're all in this together, and when we share what we've learned, we all grow stronger. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to connecting with you in the next video.